Hey guys, welcome back to the next section. In this section, I will cover how to get data into the process mining tool, which is Celonis. So, the first part will be about the data engineering and the backend features within Celonis. And the second part, okay, would be what is included in the Celonis free license and what is excluded. And the final one is about an hands on demo to load your first data set. So, let's get started with the backend features within Celonis. So, if you notice, the main structural element of data integration within Celonis is the data pool. So, which is named as one year. So, the data pool clusters data connections, data jobs, schedules, and data models, equipping you with everything you need to set up a data integration workflow. So, this is where you build the overall pipeline. Yeah. From your source system to Celonis backend, how the data is flowing. So basically, remember in the previous sections, we spoke about the data connections, data normalization, data transformation, queue building, and data model build. All of those would happen okay, in this area within Celonis, which is all within this data pool. Yeah. So now the data connection. This allows you to connect different source systems, example SAP ECC, Salesforce, or any database or any other software systems. So from which we can extract data and check the statuses. So you create a data connection, also defines the space on the underlying database in which data is stored. So basically, you're creating a data connection which defines the space on the underlying database in which data is stored. So that's what is data connection. So basically, you use this to connect to the source system by giving all the different uh, user ID, password, the IP address, the server names, etc. You create a connection with that source system. Then once the source system is connected, okay, you would see a uplink so that you know that the system is connected to that. You can test it. Yeah. And the data jobs, basically, this is where the extraction and transformation task happens. So this P2P and O2C data job, this is one job. This is another job. So this is where you do the extraction and the creation of okay multiple different tables using data transformation. All of those happens. Yeah. Yeah. So there are two distinct types okay within a data job. So one is data connection data job. Another one is global data job. So if you see, these two are data connection data jobs, which is directly connected to the data connection. So, and what exactly is this? Okay, so this allow you to extract and transform data from the source where your data connection is connected to. That's what okay this particular data job, that is the data connection data job, does. So what is a global data job then? So data jobs without a data connection uh, is called a global data job, and they cannot extract data from any of the other data connection, but they can be used to combine data from different system in a common scope called global scope. So that's what okay so the global data job does. So let's say you have the connection and you got all the data in. Okay, so you can create a global job that would actually utilize data from different systems without a connection, and it can be used to unify the tables. I mean, as an example here, you can see this data connection. You're doing the P2P tables, extraction of P2P tables and the transformation of P2P tables, likewise here. So this is not connected to this, but you can use the transform table here to create a unified P2P table. And that's where the global data job happens. Yeah. Next is the schedule. So schedule allow you to specify when and in which frequency your data jobs are executed automatically. So you can automatically schedule this, like, you can run it every 1 hour, or like, every day or every week, depending on however you want. Yeah. So there are multiple different schedule options available within Celonis. We look into that, okay, when we get into the hands-on demo. So despite the main structural elements explained above, there are two other components in a data pool, so that can be used in multiple places inside a data pool. So those are, like, number one is data pool parameters. So these are centrally defined values that can be reused in extraction and transformation across data jobs. So you can create a parameter, like, for example, let's say you want to extract data only for 3 or 4 countries, and you want to store the value of the 3 of countries in a parameter called country. You can apply the parameter as a filter for both the data connection. Okay, when you're doing the extractions here, you can just, instead of saying India, UK, and US, probably you can say country is equal to country. Country is the parameter. So that would help you to extract data based on the parameters, and that can be used across data connection. And the next one is the task template. So these are centrally stored tasks that can be reused in different data jobs. Those templates are useful in case you want to connect multiple systems that are quite similar. Like, for example, if you're trying to connect multiple instances of SAP ERP, in that case, task template will be very useful. Yeah. So in the next part, okay, we'll look into how to create a data pool via process connector. So generally, there are 3 steps to create any data pool. So number one is you have to configure a data connection. Number two is create a data job, and you have to create a data model. So within the data job here, you will do the extraction, transformation, and the loading happens in the data model side. Yeah. And this 3 steps can be done in 2 methods. One is using a process connected template, which is already pre-made by yourself, or Celonis also provides some. You can utilize that, or you can create this whole uh, 3 step to create a data pool from scratch, right? So let's look at the first step, okay, how to use a process connector to create a data pool, right? Okay, so if you move on here, so installing a process connector. So the way you do it is you go to the side menu, go into the data and click on data integration, and you would get this particular screen. So you click on create data pool here. So once you create the data pool, select start with the process connector. So if you click on this data pool, so the next page, it opens something like this when you click on that. So here, instead of creating from scratch, you click on this start with process connector. So then you can click on the pre-built connector that are already available. Click on one of them, and to install it. Yeah. So you click on that, you will find a we uh, another screen like this, okay, where it gives a little bit details about the connector. Then you can actually install that connector. So when you click install, let me try to zoom in. No. Okay, it is not zooming in. Yeah. So what is it here is, install connector. So there are 3 steps. Okay, it is connect, extract, and modify. Yeah. That's the 3 step here. So you click on that connect. So by installing this connector, and it will extract, and once the installation is complete, it would extract all the pre-built requirement for the connections. Yeah. So during the installation, you see the next types outlined. Once the installation has been successful, the data pool has been set up, you'll be redirected into the data pool automatically. So if you go to the next step, this once the connection or the installation is complete, you will see something like this. So this connected template has pre-built extractions, transformations, some of the data model if it is a standard system like SAP ECC, and also the list of tables that you need to download. It's already pre-configured here, but you can go and edit it. Yeah. So that's how, you do it. Okay, so now moving on, if you see, you can add data connections. If you want to do it manually, you can click on this add data connection, and you can provide this name of the data connection. If it is SAP, you can give in the user ID and password and the host name, all the mandatory requirement to connect to SAP. Or if you want to connect to a JDBC like Amazon Athena, likewise, okay, you give in the connection parameter, the region, port, the username and password, etc., to connect to it. Yeah, I think there is also a key, which is a standard API key, so that it creates a handshake with the source system. You might have to whitelist that IP where you're connecting to here and there, so that it has a clear handshake. Yeah, and that's how you do the connections. So now, once the connection is done, okay, so this is where you would see the extraction and transformation. So how do you go into this? So if you remember, in this screen, when you click on this uh, transformation or extraction, you would reach that particular slide, what I showed you. So this one. So here you can see the one below. This is the one-time extraction. This is the extraction. So all these are transformation. In SAP, ECC is one of the system where we are doing only extraction. But using JDBC, okay, we are doing some extraction and also we're doing some transformations. Yeah, and the data model load is there. And this is where you do the complete transformation. So the data normalization, uh, the data transformation, so the cube creation, all of that happens here. Okay, so now let's look into one of the extractions. If you see here, I've selected this. Probably when you go into that, when you double click that particular extraction template here, it will show up something like this. So these are the list of tables, what you want to download. Okay, since it is SAP, it is showing all the SAP backend tables that is required for this particular procure to pay analysis. So it's already pre-configured if it is a standard template, but you can also add tables if you want to. And the parameter I spoke about is here. You can create a parameter and use that parameter as a filter to extract any of those tables. So yeah, so moving on here. So like for example, company code. So you can have a list of company codes, and wherever you have to give that big list. Let's see, if it is one or two, you can just manually give. Let's say you want to download only the data for 20 company codes, rather than entering 20 company codes every time. You can put the 20 company code inside this parameter, and wherever you want to give that company code filter, you can provide this, and it would take it, like end dates. Yeah, like object class. So likewise, yeah. So now editing the transformation. Yeah, so if we click this, all these are different SQL queries. So you do the complete creation of transformation in this particular full transformation. You can name it however you want. Okay, so I think this is a standard way of naming. You can call it as full transformation, and there is a list of different transformation you would write, like creating the activity, different activities, or creating attribute tables. Uh, so this is very specific to SAP. So if I have to explain you this, I will have to explain all the SAP side of things first. Only then you will understand. But these are like just a high level. Okay, EKKO and EKPO is the PO header and the PO line item. So where you get all the purchase order related information and the lines within the purchase order, those information are found in these two tables. So likewise, there are different tables here. So BKPF, BSEG. So this is the accounting document header. This is the accounting document line where all the GL related information and the journal entries are here. Let's not go into that. But if you're interested, I can teach that in a different, course. So now, just if you edit any of them, you can click on this right three buttons here. Click on that. You can edit the template. Once you edit, okay, you can see this. like in a SQL queries. So this is where you write all the queries, and this is the heart of the process mining. Okay, this is what, this is very important. Okay, if you do this wrong, everything is wrong. So you have to do this correctly, and you should have enough knowledge about the systems and the process to do this properly. But this course is not about how to do this, but probably in this course I'm giving a high level idea for a beginner to understand how this is done. Yeah. Yeah. So you can have parameters at the transformation level also. You can create different parameters and you can utilize it. And once all the transformations are done, if you want to run any of this, you can run it separately, or if you want to run this in a sequential way, you can click execute data job. It will execute all the different transformation you have written. So from extraction of tables, okay, till the transformation, etc., etc. So that's how this execute data job would run every job, okay, within this particular scope. Okay, once the transformation is done, the next step is to create the data model and load it. So to create the data model, but again, okay, remember there was, okay, let me go back there and show you quickly. So here, you have to click on this. So to get into that screen, okay, for the creation data model, okay, this one. Okay, now moving on. Yeah, so when you click on there, you will come here. You can add a data model, click on this. You can add a new data model. That's what we do, but these are pre-created ones, okay, which is showing up. If you created any data model, show up here, yeah. So you can click on this add data model. That will bring you up to this page. This is how a data model looks like. So you can add tables from the transformation to create the data model. To do that, okay, you click on this add table. Yeah. So once you add table, okay, you can select that table and bring that here. So now if you want to create relationship, data model is what? Okay, it's a multiple different relationship, okay, between different tables, so that you can retrieve information from anywhere, okay, within the data model based on the relationship. So that's what data model does. So for example, to create a relationship, you have to click on this foreign key and you can connect to any of the target table. So then you'll get a a relationship create relationship a screen like this, where you can select a dimension table and a fact table. So dimension always have to be 1 is to n, which means when it's 1, the particular table you're selecting has to be unique. Should have a primary key which has to be unique. Every line item should be unique, and this one is a fact table. Okay, it is n. You can have duplicates, but there has to be a key that is connecting these two tables. Yeah, select the table and you select the field and you can connect it. Okay, once the connection is done, you can click on this particular data load and you can click on load data model for it to uh, build the data model, uh, so that you can utilize in the front end to build analysis. Yeah, so that's the last step. Yeah, so that's the last step, okay, within this um, the first part of this getting data into Celonis, that is the data engineering features within Celonis. This is exactly what you'll do if you are like you know building the whole data engineering at the back end for any system, irrespective of whether it is SAP or Oracle or anything. This is how you will make it. But to write the SQL queries and the actual logic, you should have good knowledge of the system and also the process. In the next video, we'll look into what is included in the free license of Celonis and what is excluded.